Oh, it looks like there's a bit of damage there on the number 30 machine of Brown. So that's not good news coming straight back or in around the paddock area there. Certainly a bit of a wobbly front left wheel for the driver that was set to start from position number 16. But this is going to be an absolute cracker. We had Reynolds and Kinsella in qualifying, separated by 18 thousandths of a second. So if that's anything to go by, this race should be an absolute cracker. You can see a bit of a gap there, a couple of vacant grid positions. It was an eventful qualifying, but hopefully we have a trouble-free race. We're underway here at Sydney Motorsport Park. Pretty even jump from the front row of the grid, but I think it's actually Kinsella, and it is, who's got the nose ahead, and will pull him front in towards turn number 1. As well, it looks like Sparks got Porter as well for position number 3 as they fan out towards turn 2, the tight hairpin. And Jared is alongside me in the comm spot.
Oh, big lock up there from 4th place, and it's out wide. That should be Porter in the 67 machine, if I'm right. But holding down things at the front. Kinsella looking good.
Certainly is, as they swing it through and down the hill for the first time. Reynolds, the pulsar, has been boxed back a little bit there, down to position number 3, but he'll be in contention of that. There is no doubt. This race 15 minutes in duration, and there's plenty of action still to come. These guys, unlike a lot of the categories, don't have to think so much about tyres. Not so horse-powered machines, a bit lighter, not as powerful. It means that the tyres will last a bit longer. These guys are just going to be all about good old-fashioned slipstreaming duels.
Yeah, slipstreaming duels, but you also see just how under-tired these machines still are. So they will still move around. You can still get a handy amount of opposite lock and really easy to lock brakes up, especially inside fronts on the run into corners. But it's all about maintaining that mid-corner speed, making sure you're in the right gear. We've got a couple of smokies down the back of the field, but this battle for first back to third raging between Kinsella, Sparks and Reynolds.
These guys have joined us on the Super Series on several occasions, and they'll do so a couple of times this year. Oh, Reynolds running 2 wheels through the dirt and dust on the outside of the circuit. Doesn't appear to have affected his run too much. They've all swung to the inside of the circuit. Kinsella goes ultra defensive, and we're going to go 3 wide into turn number 1. Who's going to yield? The answer is absolutely nobody. They're 3 wide around turn number 1. Wow, lap 2, and the action is already being turned up a notch. Surely someone's going to have to yield here. Who's it going to be? Kinsella's on the inside. He broke a little earlier than the other 2, but they've run wide. He's coming back up the inside on the exit of the corner, but he's on the wrong side now for this corner. So through goes Spark into the lead, and it looks like he's going to be followed through by Reynolds.
Yeah, Reynolds did a fantastic job to hang tough all the way through turns 1 and 2 and ultimately has elevated himself up. Big bit of oversteer there from our race leader Spark out in front, but Reynolds, a force to be reckoned with at this point of this race. Just over 12 minutes remaining as they drop in single file, and this battle between the top 3 has dragged up Macdonald and Porter into the mix, now barely a car length off the back of Kinsella as they make their way up over the back of the track.
Through they go. As you say, there's could be a couple more as well joining the fight. We could quickly have a 7-car train at the front of this field.
Just an amazing amount of oversteer there from Reynolds in the 78 machine, that white car in that top 3, as he holds it flat to the firewall, really cutting a menacing figure over the back of the number 47 of Spark as they make their way through the final couple of corners here on this 4-kilometre circuit.
Both Reynolds and Kinsella, a many-time champion in this series. Both of them were tied on 4 apiece last year and were fighting all season long. Here we go once again for the race lead around the outside for Reynolds, but look at Kinsella, the big slingshot all the way from 3rd to 1st in the blink of an eyelid.
A fantastic move there, really got not only the toe but also the side draft and was able to really put that together. But all of a sudden, now we have Macdonald and Porter into the mix, 2 abreast, and just about cutting the nose off of Reynolds there was Kinsella, your race leader.
This is absolutely fantastic, isn't it? This has certainly got us excited for what is to come later on this evening. This has certainly whet the appetite, that is for sure. As they go in, tip it down the hill towards turn number 4. You can make an overtake there, but it will compromise you for this corner, turn number 5, and we can see the different lines playing out in front of us.
Porter, currently running in 4th in the 67 machine, has cut a fine figure in the first 2 sectors, going pink, and currently sitting on top of a 47.28 PB lap time, and is showing some teeth from 4th place.
Underneath the bridge they go and around Corporate Hill towards turn number 6. The top 3 have ever so slightly broken away as those 2 behind fight tooth and nail, but I don't think that'll be for too long by the time we get to the straight. I'm sure they'll be right back behind once again. But this is what we've come to expect over the many, many, many decades of Formula V competition. Just good old-fashioned slipstreaming.
This is absolutely stunning racing. I've never had the chance to actually call Formula V in the past, and this is definitely living up to and exceeding expectations. We check out things happening back there with Ogden and Butcher. Back to our race leaders now. Kinsella under attack from behind and about to be from the outside of turn 1. Reynolds drops back in to cover the inside line from a hard charging Porter and into turn 1.
They fan 3 wide once again. This time Reynolds on the inside for the turn 2 hairpin. He makes the move, but look around the outside later on the brakes with the preferred racing line goes Spark. Good move from him once again. Back to the front. Kinsella across the line in the lead. He's been shuffled back to 3rd. And they're down the hill for the first time side by side. We haven't seen this yet, so this shows that the intensity is now beginning to be turned up just a little bit midway through this motor race. Oh, Reynolds there showing his authority, going, no, sorry, mate, you're going to have to think of a better way to overtake me than that one. As a result, though, Spark got checked up, and he's going to lose a place here to Kinsella. And he might struggle to hold on as well to ahead of those cars behind, but he will be all right on this particular occasion. But look at that, a little bit of dueling and a little bit of pressure from those behind, a little bit of compromised lines, and look, Reynolds has been able to pull out a little bit of a margin as the 47 shows the nose.
Yeah, Reynolds has really stamped his authority over this front pack as we dwindle down the minutes, just over 8 minutes remaining. It's a battle pack of 5 cars out in front. Reynolds, Kinsella, Spark in 3rd, Porter and Macdonald round out that top 5. Quick lap time at the moment belonging to Porter with a 147.28 on lap 2.
Through they come then to complete lap number 4 of this race. Once again, Reynolds going to the inside, but he slings across to the other side of the circuit, trying to break the toe of those behind. You see it in many categories, and this one is certainly one where it pays dividends, but clearly not enough. Oh, around the outside, that unsettled Reynolds there temporarily. I think the wake of the air around the outside upset 78 just a tad, but he's all right. He has survived. This is really getting tight now. 3 wide at the hairpin, and who's going to pick up the pieces, or attempt to anyway? It's the number 51 of Macdonald, but he just got a bit of a slide out of the hairpin at the wrong moment, and that stopped him from being able to make any overtake.
You really have to applaud the racecraft of our Formula V pilots here. No one's banging wheels. No one's locking wheels up and turning co-competitors. This is an impressive display as they make their way up through the final corner. As we are just under 6 minutes remaining, Kinsella leads us out. My apologies, I'm getting confused here. That is not the final corner. We're coming up on that very, very shortly. But Kinsella from Reynolds with Spark in 3rd. Reynolds has the pace to really be able to put down a move, but you really want to have yourself a good 3-car gap coming out of the final corner to not have to deal with the toe across the finish line.
It's a bit of a game of chess, isn't it? You got to think a couple of minutes out. Where exactly do I want to be at the start of the final lap? You got to think ahead. You can't just think the next corner like a lot of categories. You got to think a lap or maybe even 2, because if you get to the front too early, you're going to be a sitting duck on the final lap of the race. So who wants to lead on the final lap? I don't think anybody does, quite frankly, as one of them getting all crossed up on the exit of the corner. That was Spark, and he has made himself a sitting duck down pit straight.
Now this is interesting. No one really has the toe in that top 4, but Kinsella still manages to show a nose. Reynolds fights back on the inside line. Kinsella has pace around the outside. Up comes Macdonald to throw his nose cone into the fray on the exit there of turn 1. And around the outside, the number 47 of Spark goes wide and out into the weeds.
This is absolute insanity, isn't it? This is brilliant motor racing. How cool was that? All of a sudden, Macdonald leads the way. He's not been in the top 3 all race long. He is now leading with just 5 minutes left to go. That was close. We're getting closer and closer, aren't we? You said, how have they not touched a couple of laps ago? Well, I'll repeat that question. They've been so close on so many occasions in the last kilometre and a bit. This is really good racing, but they're coming up, look, on slower traffic. They're catching the first of the 1200cc lapped runners.
Let's check this out. This is where 3 became 4 on the way into turn 2, the 47 of Spark. Unfortunately, it had all the makings of a brilliant move, but just couldn't get the rear of that car locked down and sent himself out wide.
If you'd have said to me prior to the race, how many Formula Vs can you get wide at turn 2? I wouldn't have said 4, but there you go. You can get 4 wide down towards turn number 2. Back in front goes Reynolds, so he's demoted Macdonald down 1 position while we're looking at the replay. Just behind that is now the 35 of Kinsella, the 47 of Spark, and rounding out the top 5 is Porter, still with a little bit of smoke coming out the tail of that machine. So as they come across the line this time by, it's going to be Macdonald once again up the inside in towards turn number 1. But great to see in the Vs once again a variety of different makes and models of Formula V cars.
Yeah, through turn 1 they go, and Reynolds still trying to apply the pressure to Macdonald, looking up the inside. Big move out to the right-hand side as the 47 of Spark. And just to hold on to 3rd, but he's experimenting with these wide lines, and it's costing him there as Kinsella comes up and just about bumps wheels with him. But Reynolds just unstoppable.
This is really good quality racing. This is why Formula V has been so popular over the years. Larry Perkins started his career back in Formula V competition. It just teaches such great racecraft. As we can see further back down the field, it's not just at the front where there's tons and tons of battling and wheel exchanges. It's really good racing all the way through.
Yeah, this is Stott, Fremantle and Harriet, I believe, up on our screens. They are battling it out for 9th through to 11th. And just unreal racing, no matter where you look in this Formula V. Race 1, just under 3 minutes left on the clock. And now we start to see that high-speed game of chess. What's going on with the hand there for Reynolds as someone has come off track?
Hard to see from the back exactly who that was. Not entirely sure. I'm looking to see who's tumbling down the timing sectors. We'll keep an eye on that one for you. But we can't take our eyes off this. That's the problem. It is absolutely fantastic racing to kick things off here. Racing at round 2 of the High-Tech Alls Super Series. All of a sudden, the number 47 of Spark is back towards the front of this group. And he's going to go around the outside at turn 1. But does he know Macdonald's up the inside? Yes, just about. They managed to get through. That was awfully tight. There's a bit of twitching even from the number 47, but here comes up the inside once again. Oh, Reynolds. Oh, this is so close.
Yeah, it almost looked from our angle like there was a little bit of a wheel tap there. So at the moment, Macdonald retains the lead, but only barely from Spark as Reynolds lurks with intent in the 78 machine in 3rd place, still under fire. There's no rest, no matter where you are. Lap traffic looms up ahead as they slide these Formula Vs through the midsection of the track.
So turn 5 is not an overtaking opportunity now. Yellow flags, local yellows for the car that has come to a stop down there. Up the inside though, turn 6 is an overtaking opportunity, and Kinsella shows that for us right there. And then all this lap traffic, they've caught an awkward moment, but great heads-up driving there to jump out of the way from Johnston. Really good stuff, and all the leaders not affected by that, and it's play on.
If Reynolds wants to find his way up to the front of this pack, he needs to make a move before the final corner. the moment. It's Macdonald from Spark with Kinsella in third. Reynolds on the outside looking in. But tight enough proximity that the toe is still powerful as the number 47 backs it in through that final corner.
Nice exit from everybody there, and you can see this is all in a snake zigzagging across the race circuit. We're getting down to the end now. This is where they're going to have to play their joker card, but who's going to play it best? In fact, the checkered's been thrown early, so Macdonald has taken the race victory. He didn't lead for much of that race, but he led it when it mattered. He took the victory by just a 1/10 of a second. The top 5 within half a second. Wow.
That is absolutely astonishing racing as we check out the run from Harriet on Fremantle across the line. Gee, it was close as we check the numbers, and Fremantle taking it out by 0.018 of a second. A photo finish for the minor positions, back for 10th place. Absolutely wild.
Coincidentally, that was the same margin between first and second on the grid, so I was wondering how much 18 thousandths of a second looked like. There it is for you.
Absolutely wild racing from our Formula V competitors. Take a breath, because this is how it shook out. Race 1 for Formula V, taken out by Alex Macdonald, a 1/10 of a second ahead of Craig Spark in second, with Michael Kinsella in third place. Daniel Reynolds wraps up the first non-podium position with Curtis Porter in 5th, Ogden 6th, Pym in 7th, Butcher, Stott and Fremantle round out your top 10 here at Sydney Motorsport Park.
That was a belter of a race. Notably though, Kinsella was up there. He got dropped down third and Reynolds 4th late on. Matthew Harriet was 11th, head of South Australian Matthew Bialek. Greg Johnston, Evelyn McCarthy, Gabbage Hock and Chris Brown. There were a couple of retirements late on. McCarthy, Gabbage Hock and Brown, the non-finishers in that one. But there were plenty of highlights in that race. We went 4 wide on many, many occasions, and the intensity just continued to ramp up.
It was absolutely wild, and still a very clean race, even when you consider how many cars we crammed into that number 2 hairpin. 4 wide at one point, and an expert display of side and almost bump drafting on the way down the main straight. The run into turn 1, that was perilous.
Certainly was. Here we saw late on Reynolds and Spark were at the front. Reynolds went for it around the outside, but he was joined by the number 35 of Kinsella, who went all the way around the outside. It was this way throughout the entirety of the race. 8 laps, the top 5 could not be separated all the way through.
Absolutely unreal, and what a venue. Here was that moment, 4 wide, a little bit of contact there as that machine going out onto the apron. Reynolds fought so hard throughout the majority of the race. There's our unfortunate DNF.
That was Evelyn McCarthy late on in the day as they went over the brow of the hill, and this was the run to the line. Waving his hands in delight, Macdonald taking race number 1 of Australian Formula V here at Sydney Motorsport Park. A great race. He led when it mattered.